Welcome back to the Mindcrack. We're back on the Mindcrack server, and my voice sounds terrible. So here's the thing. I've had a cold for the past 5 days or so, and I'm basically totally over it. But I have a few lingering symptoms still going on. The only real symptom I have is my throat sounds terrible and it feels terrible. But that's okay, because most of what I want to do today won't involve talking. So I apologize for my throat, but I didn't want to wait any longer to keep working on things. And I didn't want to spend any more time away from making videos. So right here we have a very specific coordinate. We are at 256x, 256z. I've been hanging around Canadians too much. I'm saying Z instead of Z. We're going to be testing today to see just how big the map room really needs to be, because I think I underestimated it quite a bit in my last video. I did a little bit of roaming off camera, and yeah, but we're going to find out exactly. And what I think we're going to do is we're going to make the map room with maps 512 blocks by 512 blocks. So right here we've got one map, and this map is 128 by 128. We are just to the east of the town hall. And this is really weird. I don't know why this is like this. There's no dirt here. I can't imagine someone would strip all the dirt off the ground in the spawn area. I don't know if it's the area started like that or what. That's really bizarre. But we're gonna bump this map up to 512 by. That's really weird. The map texture was still in the background there. Yeah, see that? That's really bizarre. And now it's not. So we're gonna bump it up to 512 by 512. Don't shift click. Okay. This is now 256 by 256. And we do it once more. Again, without the shift clicking. Okay, this is 512 by 512. And these ones won't take too long to fill out. Unfortunately, oh my gosh, there will be a lot of them if we do it this way. It's going to be the same amount of exploration either way. It'll just be harder to keep track of which map is which. So tell you what, this map is 29. I'm actually going to write it down just so I don't forget. What I did to prepare before starting this is before starting to record, I actually wrote down what I think it's the X coordinate. Yeah, I wrote down the X coordinate we're going to need for each map. My keyboard is far away, farther away than usual, because I've got this pad of paper in front of me with all these numbers written down on it. And the next one we have to go to is 768. So this map represents 512 blocks by 512 blocks. So to get to the center of the next one, we have to go 512 more blocks, which would put us at 768. So what I want to do today, I'm basically going to go all the way to the western coast of the continent, and I'm going to make maps along the way. And then once we finish that, we're going to come back here, and we're going to go all the way to the eastern edge. And I'm not going to fill out the whole map. I'm just going to do the walking path, walking straight from east to west, so that we can see just how wide this silly map room is going to be. And I'm either going to speed up or cut a lot of this footage out, maybe put some music in the background so I don't have to talk, and you don't have to listen to my scratchy voice so much. Okay, so here is the little mock-up board, and we're just doing one single row of this proposed map, and it's probably going to be pretty damn big. Here is the far western edge, and we'll start there. Mostly water. And maybe this thing should be one lower so we can actually look at it a little closer. But if the map's going to be way up in the air, maybe it should be up like this. And right here, most of the buildings on the map don't show on the server, rather, I should say. Most of the buildings on the server don't show up on these maps very well because of the scale. But right there, you can see Vintage Beef's what's he calling it? A clover leaf or lily pad or something like that. I don't know. But it's right there on the edge of that desert. Then there's a forest, a jungle, which is such a pain in the butt to map. Oh, I hate jungles now so bad. And then here is spawn. Spawn is, I already know that it's a little bit off center. So this is actually fairly accurate as to the width of the continent. Now, if we're in a big map room, just making sure I didn't trample any crops, because that's really rude. If we're in a big map room like this, this is going to be crazy. Because I'm pretty sure the continent is taller than it is wide, but our map is going to be square one way or the other. And this is probably the max width we could potentially do right here. I think it's probably going to be 15 by 15, but look at how big this is. And a real unfortunate thing is this huge gap. The only thing we can really do is try to make a really neutral background here. It maybe even wood to blend in with the frame edge of the item frames. Just so that's not distracting. I don't want something really pixelated like cobblestone. Maybe smooth stone might work. I don't know. I haven't really experimented with that. So that is how big the map is going to be at a 15 by 15 scale. That is just gigantic. And I'm wondering if we shouldn't do 1,000 by 1,000 maps to cut it in half, more or less. Then it would be basically 7 or 8 blocks wide. And it would still be fairly big. But then all of the maps would be at this scale. You would barely be able to see any buildings. Which may be okay, I guess. And I'm really hoping at some point they put a feature into the worlds to stitch these together so that we can have real map walls and not have all these big gaps in the middle. But anyway, okay, let's get to work. Let's do the rest of it. All right, hang on a second. Time out, time out. Let's step back from the grindy map making for a second and consider our decisions. So I thought it might be prudent to do a few quick mock-ups to see what this thing is actually going to look like. Because up to this point, I haven't really built it to see what it's going to be like to walk around, to look at. In terms of the scale, in terms of looking at it. And putting up that many maps next to each other and knowing how many more I had to put in that little mock-up I have in the spawn area, made me wonder if maybe I made the wrong decision. So if we do the 500 by 500 maps, we are going to need to make the overall map about 15 by 15. And because I know the overall proportions and the length and height of the continent. So it's going to be this big. So when we walk into it, it's going to be this big. And if there's a map up here, let's just look at this. It's going to be, and let's just put that in there. Now, can you even see that that's a hoe? I mean, you can, but it is tiny. It is tiny. Now, I wanted it to be kind of imposing, but that's a little too big. That's a little too big. The overall map size or the wall size is too big compared to the size of the individual maps. Now these two are closer to what I'm actually looking for. So the only way to make it smaller really is to bump up the scale of the map to make them 1,000 by 1,000. And if we do that, then the map size is going to be actually closer to this. 7 by 7 is the most accurate thing. Now, I actually like the physical size of this. This is pretty much what I was looking for in a map wall, in terms of you walk into this room and you've got this big sort of imposing wall, but it's not so big that you can't make out details on the upper corners there. And overall, you should still be able to see a lot of the, the details of the continent, as opposed to that little guy way up there. Here, let's, for comparison. I know it's, this isn't exactly the same as looking at a map, but you can at least make some comparisons as to the amount of detail you can make out. That's clearly a gold or a diamond hoe. And you can still make out the details of it up there. But way up here, not so much. It's kind of tiny. So here's a conundrum. This is the map size that the map wall is going to be. That's the size I want it to be. So I think what I'm going to do is we're just going to remove the outer edge like this. And that way we can have, we can have the same map size. Oh, and I was trying out the wood to see if it would blend in with the frame edges, and it does. Look at that. Whoops. I may actually use birch planks. Let's actually try that out since we're in creative in my test world. Let's replace the bottom 2 layers here. But it's going to be kind of like this, kind of imposing. It's going to be a square building. I have a lot of really cool ideas for the construction of the actual building, which is, I want to get started on it, but we need to figure out exactly how big it's going to be first. Yeah, I think that's better. They blend in pretty well, don't they? Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. And I'm thinking the columns here are going to be logs like that, or just wood, I guess is the technical term. Oak wood, spruce wood. Yeah, spruce wood. And these columns here are going to not only hold the map wall, they're going to be holding up the roof. And then there'll be like a really flimsy, or not flimsy, but like a screen type thing. Not out of planks, but just use your imagination and abstract this. There will be a screen around the edge, but the whole thing's going to be held up by these big columns. And then there'll be maybe some gardens. And the whole thing is built on proportions. So if, like, basically this is going to be my proportion from this column to this column. That'll be half the proportion. And then, so half that distance from column to column will come out to here. And there'll be like a circle garden thing. And then the edge. So it'll come out to here. Basically, the entire plot I'm going to use. Although a lot of it's just going to be kind of garden stuff on the outside. Whoops, wrong button. Most of the construction is going to be a square around this map wall and then the roof. But if we did it this big, it would be huge because I'd have to be going with the same proportions. Like the circle garden thing would be way out there. And then the edge of the plot would be way out here. It's too big. It's too big. And I'm glad I did this before I made too many more maps. So, we're going to start over. What the hell you think you're doing? We're going to start over, and we're going to use this scale for the map for 1,000 by 1,000. Okay, let's start again. So we'll make a map. This time I'm going to keep the coordinates based around 0, 0. That's where we're going to start. And we need to expand this guy. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Okay, that's once. And these will take longer to fill out, but I will have many fewer less total maps. That building, that is Avidia's, like, Zen thingy over there. It's already quite small on the map. It's probably going to disappear entirely once we get to the total expansion. But that, I mean, this scale of the map isn't really designed to show most buildings. It's designed to show the landscape. Okay, that's 512. There we go. Okay, that's going to take a while to explore all of that. But because I started at 0, 0, it's going to be a lot easier to find the centers because it's all going to be multiples of 1024. So the next one we'll go over to 1024, then 2048, then 3072, then 4096 if we even have to go that far. I think we do when we go east. The moon is setting, and I actually also want to time myself so I get an overall idea of how long these are going to take. So let's figure it out. Okay, so that's the first one done, and looking at the clock, that took me 24 minutes. 24 minutes or 3 speed potions. Not too bad. I think this map has a pretty good mix of terrain versus, you know, a good mixed. Oh gosh, a pretty typical jumble up of biomes. Some biomes are faster, some biomes are slower. The most pain in the butt biome that I now hate with all of my essence is the jungle biome. I hate it so much now. And the one that is easily the easiest and fastest to map is the ocean, because you just cruise around in a boat. It's real quick. Don't even need a speed potion, really. But that took me about 24 minutes, and the others are probably going to average about the same. Oh gosh, I'm not actually worried, I'm just making noises, I don't know. So I have to do that, oh, I don't know, 6 more times, and then we'll have 1 completed row of our upcoming map room. Okay, some time has passed. I am done with another row. You know, this happens every once in a while, where all the maps need to load back in. I wonder why that is. That's probably not intended for that to have to happen. Anyway, we finished a full row of the 1000 by 1000 maps. Oh, I had the music on while I was playing for a while. Watched some TV, some movies, watched some people stream, etc. This took a while. There we go. That is 1 horizontal row of the map. So right here, this right here is an island. And right about here, I looked at, it looks like this continent comes out a little more, so we're going to be not quite all the way to the edges of the entire landmass. But I think it's pretty close. I want to keep it an odd number. And to bump up to 9 by 9, we would have to go too far out. This is almost entirely ocean, as is this. But I think that looks nice. If you try to ignore that that's even there, I'll just even block it. Yeah, that doesn't work. That doesn't look very good. Never mind. Tell you what, let's do this. There. That works. Now you don't have to look at it. Yeah, I think that looks good. We still have the space between the maps, but there's nothing we can do about that until they add something in the game. Dinnerbone. Dinnerbone! To make a proper map on the wall. I think it's going to look cool. And we're going to go with 7x7. So, next video, we'll head back to my little neck of the woods. And we'll do a little bit more work on the house. Video after that, we're going to pick a plot somewhere around here to build this thing. And we're going to set up the basic proportions, the map wall. That kind of thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you later. Take it easy. Have a good day. Bye-bye.